All right, let's go. They're just fives. But that's right, I got my super protein powered packed get ripped. It's just water. All right, let me fix that real quick. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Relentless Fit 365. This is your weekly vlog where we talk about fitness, nutrition, and anything else that matters to you so we can just live a healthier and happier life. And as you can see today, we are talking about weight training, specifically strength training, body sculpting, bodybuilding. I like to say body sculpting for a lot of the women because bodybuilding gives a weird connotation of what it is. And truly, things have changed. I want to target one myth right away for all you women who think that strength training is going to get you big and bulky. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Before I do that, I want to make sure we are set and ready to rock here. Good to see everybody rocking here. All right. Here we go. So first of all, I'd like to get a lot of your opinions on strength training. Women, men, it doesn't matter. I know that my website or my channel, I do strength training. I do time under tension stuff. I do body weight strength training. And yes, you can build strength through body weight. You don't need dumbbells, but specifically dumbbells are what I'm talking about today because I think there's this concept that if women pick up heavy stuff, they're going to get big and bulky. So here's why that's a myth. First of all, what you're seeing or what you're reminded of is the traditional bodybuilding style women, and if that's what you want, that's one thing, but I think some people sway away from strength training because of that, and they get this idea that I'm going to look like that and I don't want to. Well, it's very difficult for women to look like that. Now, dare I say, because many of them probably will deny it, but you would require some sort of synthetic boost of testosterone for you to get those gains, that size. It is scientifically impossible for you to put on mass like most guys can. Obviously, guys are going to have more testosterone, so it's going to be a little bit easier for them, and I will talk about that in a second. It's not going to just be targeting women, but I want to try to bring some of those women over who are looking to look into body sculpting, and guys are popping up. Good to see you, everybody, and we are going to talk about that. Rock away. That's it, Rich. Hi, Anna. Christina's here. Fitness family. Chris, how you doing? Good to see you, Chris. I believe that's Chris Cornelius, if I'm correct. I don't know. We'll have to look. But it's Chris, regardless. We have a lot of Chris's. So, all right. First of all, body sculpting. Women. If you're looking to get toned, definition, some sort of physique that you look at your body now and you say, I have this, but I have this particular image in my mind. Unless you're some sort of genetic fitness freak where you can do HIIT training or cardio, you're not going to respond in the way that your body needs to get that particular sculpting look, unless, of course, you do strength training. That's right. You cannot ignore strength training. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions about strength training. YouTube's a big problem with that because, and I'm guilty of this as well. Sometimes we'll mistitle a video so it gets more hits or it gets more views, and I do want to discuss that too, so for you to be aware that I'm trying to get better at not doing that. In the beginning, it was easy to just put down HIIT, high intensity interval training, HIIT, and everyone puts down HIIT because people know that's what's being Googled or that's what's being searched on YouTube, and they're bound to get more views. Not that HIIT's bad, it's not, but if you ignore strength training in particular, you're not going to see that. But again, you will not get bulky from lifting weights. If anything, that muscle tone is going to work to your advantage. It's going to burn more fat. And unlike some sort of steady state cardio where you're just burning the calories for the time you spent on it, this is going to work up to 24, sometimes 36 hours after you did it. You ever do some weight training and then the next day you don't really feel anything? 2 days later, you're like, oh man, I'm sore. Here it is. It's still working for you. You're still burning fat. You're still using that to your advantage, and that's why I call it money in the bank. You're building muscle, muscle tone, and at the same time, that muscle tone is working to your advantage to burn that fat. So that is the first myth busted. You're not going to get bulky. Don't worry about that. If that is your concern, I want you to leave in a comment below. Let me know why, other than just getting bulky, because it is scientifically impossible. You really have to work at it. Look, guys, these professional bodybuilders are packing in 5,000 to 10,000 calories a day. They're probably taking steroids for the most part. The professionals probably are, on top of other supplements, to pack on this weight. It's not easy to do. You can't just lift a few weights and say, oh, I'm a big guy now, or big girl, or whatever. It takes a lot of work. But what it will do, what strength training will do, is it will sculpt your body into the direction that you are reaching for, if that happens to be your goal. All right, I'm already looking forward to Sunday. All right, yeah, me too. So since you brought it up, Sunday, just a quick shout out of what Sunday is. Obviously, if you haven't done a Sunday live workout, it is Central Standard Time at 7:30 every Sunday, 7:30 a.m. And this Sunday, we are doing the craziest nonstop body weight combination that I've ever done. Now, I've done one before, and I think it lasted about 16 minutes. This one's about 4 additional minutes. The moves are kind of similar, but there's some add-ons that make it a little bit more challenging. Yay! All right, so there's that. Join us on Sunday. All right, we'll get off that topic now. So Christina says, weights and strength training took my body to the next level in terms of vanity, muscular definition, overall strength, and even speed and endurance in cardio and HIIT too. That's actually a very valid point. Those of you who love cardio and who love HIIT training, and I'm not trying to take that away from you, I'm not trying to distract from it. I've done HIIT videos, I do cardio, I understand why you would love that so much. But you ever find yourself getting at a sticking point where it's like, I can't seem to hold myself up as long as, this particular moment or this time or that time. Strength training will help you get past that level. So Christina, you bring up a very great point. And if you know Christina, you know that she's got the body, let's just say if I was a female, I'd want to look like her, all right? So body sculpting right there. So yeah, that's a very valid point. People are still talking about the live. Yeah, I'm excited about the live too. All right. Another myth about strength training that I think for the most part, people are getting more educated in the fact that, if you lift weights, it's not as ostracized as it used to be. But people also feel like weights are going to make them slower, weights are going to make them perform less. And I actually just touched on it just now based on Christina's comment. Weights do not make you slower. Weights will help your ability to sustain something longer, especially if you do them functionally, you do them correctly. Now, there is a way, if you inappropriately lift, or if you have a specific reason as to why you're lifting weights, where you could just develop a bunch of muscular mass and you won't be able to sustain long periods of cardio or steady state training. And that's not the type of strength training that I am talking about. I'm talking about somebody who's able to still do functional movements, but just get stronger in the process and be able to take their game to the next level. And that's one of the reasons I love strength training so much. So it will make you better, stronger, faster. And let me target HIIT training really quickly. I said that a lot of times on YouTube you have to be careful because these days just about, I don't know, this is a guess, maybe 70% of the workout videos out there say HIIT on them. Actually many of mine say HIIT. I try to keep it within the rules of what HIIT training is. Now I do understand, and other trainers will probably say this as well, HIIT training has evolved into something bigger than what it used to be, but it still holds very specific rules. High intensity interval training is very quick, very powerful, and very short burst of movement, and then you rest for longer periods of time, often longer than what you were working for. So the traditional sense of HIIT training really, probably no video falls into that miss of maybe doing 20 or 30 seconds of like sprinting or real powerful weights and then resting and holding it and then going into another, something that's sustainable for another 20 seconds, another move. It used to be for athletes in particular, and then people recognized the health benefits. And it has tremendous amount of health benefits. Here's the problem if all you do is HIIT training. Just like any other form of exercise, if you just stay to the one form, Guys, what do you think's going to happen? You get into this rut, this plateau. Your body gets bored. And guess what? All the things that you used to do and that used to be intensive and they used to excite your body, now you just go through the motions. And when you just go through the motions, you're going to find yourself not getting to that next level. So if you're looking in the mirror and you're like, man, I've been doing HIIT training for a whole year. What's going on? I can't seem to get to that next level. Change it up. Come on, change it up. Go to some strength training. Slow it down a little bit. Focus on maybe shocking your body to some degree, keeping your body excited, keeping the muscles excited, and that is truly where you're going to see it. The reason why, and I don't mean to sound really preachy about strength training, but I've done it most of my life. And it is funny because it's not funny like I'm going to go in the corner and laugh my lungs out because it's hilarious. It's funny, strange why people think muscle can't perform. I'll give you an example on myself. When I was 12 years old, I started lifting weights. Now, my dad had me going really light, but that was my 8th grade graduation present, and I never looked back. Weight training was really what I knew about fitness. And I think a lot of guys can relate. You start with the weights, the dumbbells, the machines, and then it starts to evolve to something bigger oftentimes. I originally started to lift weights to get better at sports. Now, let's fast forward to when I was in my early 30s. Ultra running started coming up. One of the very first long distance crazy races I did was a 64-mile race in sub-zero temperatures where you're carrying a pack and you're going up and down hills. And one of my buddies, weight training buddies, said, "Your muscle can't sustain that." But here's the problem: if you train your muscles and your body properly, muscle can go for long periods of time. So don't be discouraged if you think, well, he has so much muscle. He probably can't even run. I did several races that were well over 26 miles. So don't let that scare you. Muscle can go distances, but you have to train it properly. All right, I'm rambling on. We got a lot of comments here. Let's go through this. So I generally do at-home HIIT workouts due to time constraints, and I'm hurting myself by not lifting. Am I hurting myself by not lifting and doing more strength training? Chris, it all depends. I mean, it kind of goes back to what I said. If all you're doing is HIIT training, I'm not going to suggest you're going to get hurt if you're giving yourself proper rest or you're listening to your body. What I'm saying is you're hurting yourself to progress better. I actually think you are holding yourself back a little bit. If you did start to incorporate some strength training, you would see some major differences, and I'd certainly recommend it. Now, if I know you like evolution training, and evolution is kind of an extreme form of a high intensity, and it doesn't even fall in the realms of HIIT training because there's no rest. It's just max level threshold sustainability. And you're always asking me for those. I'm bringing them, and I'm going to continue to do those. I'm not against that. But yeah, I'm a man of balance and multi-dimensions. So if you stop something, understand what's going to pick up the slack. So if I stop strength training, what's going to maintain that strength so that I can continue, what I had before? Really, strength training is what's going to do it. Just as well as HIIT training. I'm not asking anybody to stop HIIT training or even steady state training. I think they're all great, but I do think you would do better if you balanced it more and incorporated some strength training. I'm not saying you guys go on this 18-week bodybuilder program. I'm just saying maybe throw it in there once a week, just to give your muscles a little shock. All right, that's a good question though. Weightlifting is good for women in later years. Done a lot of research on this. Julie, that I as well have, and I'm glad you brought that up. Like I said, I do think people are getting more educated, and as a society, I think we're starting to realize that weight training is very good. If you have bad joints, if you have ankle, knee issues, back issues, strength training is going to be what the physical therapists are going to have you do, balancing moves, and some of the things that I actually put in some of my videos. This will help you recover as well as it's going to help you protect your joints. And if you start earlier, you're less likely to have as many joint issues as you would if you didn't do it, And not that if you're older, it's not that you can't build something, you can, but you're definitely going to be ahead of the game if you start it now. Start it now, that's my point. Julie, good comment, I appreciate that. I've noticed that this is Chris again, I noticed that my push-ups and pull-ups have somewhat plateaued. Yeah, it's possible. And that's usually when I see a plateau where I want to see an increase, I change things up. When I was last year, I was training for a Spartan, and one of the things that was out of my realm was some of the speed aspect. But what the speed training really did is it brought back some things when I was like a teenager, which was great. And it re-excited my muscles to do something different. And it actually did improve my pull-ups. Even though I love pull-ups and I feel like I'm pretty decent at them anyway, by changing things, that was kind of like sort of a backdoor benefit just by changing things up. So I definitely recommend it. Here's Anna. Strength training has helped me in doing HIIT, cardio, running, and handstands. Anna, you're crazy. Handstands? I want to see Anna do some handstand push-ups. That's awesome, Anna. And I have definitely seen you improve. I see your videos. I see you on Instagram. I see you on Facebook. And here's a case. Like I know Anna basically through all the social media, mostly starting through YouTube, and we followed each other. She has literally tried everybody's workouts. So, I don't know if I've seen her shy away from any type of workout. I have seen her do HIIT. I have seen her do strength. I have seen her do core and yoga stuff. That's really the epitome of what I embrace in the fitness industry, is the multi-dimensions. When somebody's telling you that one is better than the other, you need to stop and ask yourself, why are they saying that? Is there a business reason why? Is there some sort of agenda as to why? HIIT's not better than strength training. Strength training is not better than HIIT. Not in the big spectrum of what fitness is. They both have their place. They're both beneficial, and I don't think either should be ignored, as well as steady state cardio and some lower intensity style of cardio. Even just taking a walk is good for your muscles. I would like to go for a hike. That's just me personally, but it's the same thing. It's whatever your flavor is, basically. Waterboarding. Oh my goodness. Yeah, not waterboarding, paddleboarding. I blame my friend for saying that because she was calling paddleboarding waterboarding. Paddleboarding is another thing that I really enjoy. And now that our city is finally getting some sun, I'll probably do that a few times. All right, waterboarding. I should probably drink some water. Everyone drink some water. All right. I got a comment the other day that says, asked me if I was against water because they never see me drink water in videos. And that's true, I guess I don't, but I don't need water for 20 minutes, and so I don't drink it. But you drink water while you work out, that's fine. I'm not against that. Strength training, we talked that. Let's see. Do you have to lift heavy if you are doing, do you have to lift heavy if you are doing cardio? I don't think you have to lift heavy at all. Now, I'm not against heavy, and by the way, heavy is not going to make you bulky either. And a good trick for that, someone asked me, and I'm going to dance around your question, but I'm going to answer it. I got another question the other day, how can I get stronger without getting bigger? And my answer was, like, if you're an athlete, let's say if you play soccer or if you're basketball, where you don't really need a lot of mass, but you want to get stronger, my recommendation is lower the reps, maybe do 3-4 reps and then more sets, and you will find yourself increasing in strength, but you're not getting enough time under tension to really make that muscle bigger. You're just making it stronger, and that's one of the tricks you can do with that. So less reps, heavier weight will get you stronger without getting you bigger. Now, on the flip side, if you're doing cardio and you decide you want to do light weights, that's fine. Understand, you're going to have to go a little heavier, and I would always recommend reps of 12, 10, 8, things like that. You could even go up to 15, but if you're getting more than 15 or 20, chances are you want to go up a little bit. Don't get in this mindset that if you increase weight, you're going to start packing on a lot of muscle. I think one of the setbacks a lot of my cardio videos and HIIT videos have is that someone who doesn't want to get bulky will look at somebody like me and say, I don't want that. But you're not going to, trust me, not unless you truly work at it and you put attention on it. And if you're female, you're going to develop with what your body genetics allow you to develop, which will be sculpting in the way that you want your body to look. It's not going to look like mine. So don't let that scare you, and don't be afraid to go heavy, but you don't have to. I would always say more than heavy, more than just light. Make sure your form is on point, and if your form is right, the rest will start taking its spot. Okay, I hope I answered your question in that. Let's see. So I definitely have started more strength training to be a stronger swimmer. Iris, that's great to know. And swimming. Wow, there's another one. If you guys do some other fitness outside of just working out, leave it in the comments section. Give people some ideas. Swimming is a great one. I love swimming. Swimming will hit muscles you didn't realize you had. And when I decide to pull back on cardio, sometimes I'll do that. I'll pull back on cardio and I'll hit strength training harder, and vice versa. But when I do that, I'll hit swimming because it hits muscles that I might miss in the gym, and it still gets my heart rate going, and I'll get out of the pool and I'll be tired and hungrier than I normally am, which is dangerous. All right. Thank you, Iris. Great comment. Regina, hi. I am already bulky in arms and shoulders. I want to be more lean in these areas. Should I lift heavy or lighter weights? Okay, so some of those, now sometimes you're naturally going to get bigger in certain areas. Some of that is just genetics. Now, one thing you can do to alleviate that, you do want to balance some cardio with strength training. But yeah, I would probably increase the weight, lower the reps. Or for the most part, go body weight. I mean, you could still get some strength training done through body weight, through push-ups, through squats. I'm a big fan of body weight because I believe your body will start to sculpt itself naturally. Sometimes dumbbells, you really have to be careful and make sure your form is good. And not that you don't have to with body weight, but you're using your own weight and your muscles adapting to that. And to me, it's always formed better on me by doing body weight. And dumbbells are kind of like, have always been the backstory of everything else. But if you do see that in your arms, lessen up on, I don't know if you're doing curls. There's no need, if you don't want your arms big, don't do curls. You're doing enough exercises that involve your arms. I know guys in particular will want big arms and they'll do curls all the time, but you really don't have to very often. I mean, it's a good thing. I do sometimes, but it's one of those things you just kind of add in. And if you're seeing that, maybe stay away from more of the arm movements if you have that. And when you're doing it, try to focus more on body weight stuff. But if you did go heavier, less reps, and you'll see less of that. Another big thing about that, Regina, I also want to stress, also look at your calorie intake. Sometimes, here's the thing, muscle requires fuel. That is one of the kind of setbacks. It depends on how you look at it. To building more muscle tone, you're going to be hungrier. Make sure your calories are within reason and you're not overeating. And if that's the case, if you are doing that, you are going to see more bulk. So be careful. More intake of food, more intake of that fuel will fill the muscles as well. So I'm not saying you starve yourself, eat healthy, eat lean, but also watch that calorie intake. Just split your meals up, that's all. Make them smaller, but make more of them. I hope that answered your question. Good question, though. Yeah, it makes me. Swimming, Iris talked about swimming makes her very hungry. Yeah, same with me. Someone recently talked to me about, like, what do they do when they feel more hungry? Eat more. Your body is asking you for that fuel. Now, there are setbacks to that as well. But if your body's asking you for that fuel, why would you deny that? Just make sure you're eating the right foods. Stick to, like I said, the lean proteins. Stick to a lot of veggies. The rule of the thumb is the veggies should always outweigh the protein. So have more veggies than protein. Now, if you're looking to bulk, and there's some of you out there, that's different. You want more protein, so you want to pack that in. But You also don't want to ignore the protein. Don't just eat veggies after swimming or HIIT or anything like that. You need the carbs, but you also need that protein, because when you're working out, it starts ripping your muscle, and that's exactly what happens. You have probably about 30 minutes, some would say a little more, whether it's between 30 minutes to an hour. You have like a short period of time where you can get something in your body to fill in those cracks and strengthen that muscle. And that's where a lot of your gains come into play. That's when you start to sculpt. When you ignore the protein intake, it just goes flat, and you're not going to develop the way you could have if you were eating and taking in the right fuel, which is protein, and not ignoring carbs, which is something else I'd recommend, like especially after HIIT, replenish yourself with some carb right away, fruit or whatever carb you like, because you want to get that energy back in your body. Good question though. Is it bad to work out every day? Should I have a rest day? MSH805, great question. All right, so you're asking somebody who lives a lifestyle of fitness. Rest days are definitely something that I would recommend. However, I will say, when people think of rest days, they think of it as days off. And I was talking about this to somebody just recently about one of the setbacks that most people have is like, oh, it's my day off. I can eat whatever I want. I can lay around. No, that's not what a rest day is. A rest day is basically stopping what you've been doing intensively. So let's just say you're doing a lot of high intensity interval training, and you did it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Wednesday's your rest day. You don't do high intensity interval training, but there's nothing wrong for you going on a long hike. Change up the way your muscles are working out. If you're feeling good and your body says, I want to do something else, by all means, maybe throw some strength training in there, maybe throw some yoga in there. It's okay to keep working out. Just make sure you're resting your muscles every day. Like if you're resting your muscles after every workout. If you do strength training, you certainly don't want to do strength training in and out for 20 straight days. You will get injured. So just keep that in mind. Another thing on the rest day, rest days are not days off for your nutrition. I can't stress that enough. It's a rest day for your body, but not for the fuel that you're taking in. The fuel is a very important source for you to replenish. That, and in fact, that's when it becomes the most important, because that is when your body is going to respond to saying, hey, this stuff is making me recover. You start putting crap back into your body, you're going to go the next day and your workout's going to be crap. So make sure you're giving yourself the right fuel. But yeah, listen to your body about the rest day, but I would recommend, if you're doing strength training, I try to rest every 4 days. Sometimes I'll go 6, but that doesn't happen all the time. You have to listen to yourself. And when it becomes... Some people have to be told to rest, though, and I would recommend 3 to 4 days after that. Definitely rest, and make sure you truly are resting. Let's see. Hey, Jake, how do you recommend using machine weights, especially for legs? There aren't a whole lot of options in bigger gyms, or room for that matter, for body weight. Yeah, that's true, unless you're going to infiltrate their group workouts, which is okay too. Yeah, that's a good question. You're asking about machines. How do you recommend using machine weights, especially for legs? All right, so machine weights are not going to replace body weight. That's just the way it's going to be. Now, I would recommend, I think the machines that are good are extensions, leg extensions. You're kicking up like this. Leg curls, you're curling in like that. Like my finger, this is my finger model here. Those are pretty good. I personally, if you're going to do the machine weights, I would do them but with one leg. I always like to isolate the legs. That's one thing with body weight, you get a better option to do that, because I always like to balance stuff and really literally pinpointing one side and then go back to the other so you can see where your imbalances are at. You can't do that as well with machines. I'm dancing around it because obviously I'm not a big fan of machines, especially for legs. But what I will say is don't shy away from it. It's not that I don't do it, I still do. But single leg stuff. would probably be better. Even for calf raises, I would do single leg calf raises, and then at the end, maybe do a burnout with both legs. I hope that helped. But do it, I don't know, butt your way into the group area and do some body weight. Come on. But if you can't do that, there's always a place in the gym I think you can find a corner and do body weight. There's got to be. If not, find a new gym. All right. There was let's see. So thanks so much for the info, Jake. Yes, you answered my question. Okay, good. I don't count calories, but I will take a look at my diet. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend counting your calories anyway. I know a lot of people, there's a lot of you that do. And I don't want, some people just have to know the numbers. And I don't want you to shy away from like good nutrition because you said, okay, Jake doesn't want me to count calories, I shouldn't do it. If that's helping, that's fine. But eventually you want to get in that point where it's like, I know what's good fuel for my body. I know what I want to put into it. And you don't need to count them anymore. You know when you need to eat, and you know that this is the way you want to split up your meals. Another comment, Exana says, I also get hungry after strength training even more than after running. Yeah, again, muscle requires fuel, so you will eat more. But just make sure it's better. You're burning more as well. And not only that, if you're eating the right foods and you eat more often, your metabolism is now working to your advantage. And you want to keep that metabolism working. If you're eating one meal a day, you can ruin yourself. I'm not saying it's going to ruin your metabolism, but it could potentially do that. Even if you're doing this intermittent fasting, and I've talked about that in videos prior. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I don't think it's bad, especially if you do it occasionally. It's a good detox. But understand, I'm a big fan of eating more often. And if you're definitely the weight loss side or trying to get leaner, just cut those portions in half and spread those out. All right, guys, I am running out of time. In fact, I am out of time. I appreciate your comments. There's more popping in. We'll take them quickly, but then we're going to get going. I want to fill you in on some things that's going on with the channel, my website, and then we'll have to talk about Sunday and then next week. Recovery workouts are also good too. Sam, absolutely. There's all sorts of recovery workouts. One of my favorites, you could literally use Tabata for a recovery workout. I recently did one. I think it's just muscle recovery. And it's on a machine, but you don't have to do a machine. And people might think, well, that doesn't even sound like a recovery. You're not going really intensive. You're just going with the tempo. And what it's doing is just keeping blood flow going into your muscles, and it just kind of gives you a muscular detox. Yeah, a muscle recovery is good on a rest day as well. Just keep that in mind. Good point, Sam. Is eating more protein post-strength training the answer to faster recovery, feeling less tired? Yeah, absolutely. I would say fuel in general, fuel being food. Think of it as that anyway, all right? Because you guys are revved, solid sports car engines, right? So think of it as fuel, not food anymore. And because this is what you're putting into your body. You're investing all this time for your health, for your physique. Why would you ruin it with bad food just because it tastes good? You want good fuel in your body. Protein, by far, is something that is often overlooked, or people will overdo it, and they can overdo it, but you're better off to overdo it than not have enough. But I would say in general, just good healthy food. And I will say I've seen your plates of food on Instagram. Just do it more often. Make sure you're getting that meal in right away. If you're working out and you're not eating 2 hours after you're working out, yeah, you're going to be tired. Your body just burned off all those calories, so now you're crashing. And when that happens, it starts to look for something. And in your case, I know you don't have a lot of body fat on you, so guess what happens? First, the body starts looking for the protein, and if you don't fill in the protein, guess what it goes for then? It goes for fat. If you don't have fat, it's going to start going to the muscle. And now it's kind of counterproductive. And I flip that, because first it goes to fat, then protein, and then it goes to muscle. But you need that protein to protect that muscle. Calories in general, after you work out, you're burning it. So put that fuel back in your body. Okay, guys, I rambled on and on and on. What else is new? So there it is. If you were on the fence about whether or not you should be doing strength training, I am telling you, don't hold back. Don't do the same thing over and over again. Make sure you switch it up, mix it up, do different things, challenge your body. If you're afraid of something, do it, because there's a reason why. It's probably because you're not very good at it, but that's okay. That's how you grow. That's how you get better. That's how you improve. And that's really what fitness is all about, is challenging our inconsistencies so that our health is more consistent for our bodies, and then we're actually performing at our best levels, the strongest version of us. And if you neglect strength training, you're allowing your body to be less consistent than it could be. So keep that in mind. Thank you guys really much. I appreciate that. Guys, thanks for watching as always. Thank you for all your comments, your shares, your likes, your dislikes. I like those too. Come on, haters are just as good as lovers. Didn't sound good. Anyway, you know what I mean. Because they're taking the time to actually say something mattered enough to make them mad, and that's cool too. But you guys are a great community. It's always good, and so the next one's coming up, and next week we will be joining in again, but it's going to be a surprise yet again. I'm going to keep targeting on how the fitness is going, but on things to also watch out for. We have to be very careful of that. Okay, so things changing on my website. There are going to be exclusive workouts coming soon. I'm going to have like one a month. Are things going to change on my website? Yes. On my channel? Yes. And website, but website's down the road. On the channel, you can still expect the live workouts on Sunday. You can still expect the workouts on Wednesday, but I do want to get into some more videos. I haven't decided what day. Look, I spend a lot of time in the gym. I'm constantly working. I don't do just videos, so I have to find where I can put that time. But I probably will start adding more tips and more tricks and more vlogs and things like that. So if there's something specific, because this is kind of ground floor on that, and I'm still working on it, if there's something specific you would like to see or know or do on this channel, let me know, because it may sway my mind to add it on one of those days. I would like to get my week up to maybe 4 videos a week, and perhaps in the future 5, so I can spend more time with you guys and find out what your fitness levels are doing, and that way by Friday we could recap everything and see how it's going, and that's kind of what this Friday Live is for. So yeah, it's always a great chat with you guys. And also, don't forget about Sunday. It's becoming more exciting. I see more of your faces on there, and I appreciate you guys doing the workouts. Sunday's going to be all body weight, but it's going to be time under tension. It's slow-moving strength training, kind of fun. It's a challenge. A 20-minute non-stop body weight exercise where we do 6 reps, but there is no rest. So talk about a lot of time under tension stuff. It's going to be there. More chaos training, please. That's a great suggestion. Yeah. Chaos training's not going anywhere. You will see more. I'm glad you like that one. Chaos is fun for me because it reminds me of the military. That's where basically I learned it. Being ready for anything that's thrown your way. And that's really why multi-dimensional strength training and fitness is really what's important to me. Being ready for all of it. HIIT training, steady state training, strength training, all that good stuff. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Always remember, eat healthy, train hard, most especially have fun. You remember to stay focused, stay dedicated, and I'll see your beautiful faces same time, same place, same channel, and all that other good stuff. And also Sunday. And I'm out. Bam! You guys have a good day too. Thanks for joining in. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. All right. Love you.